Besiege was initially released on January 28, 2015 for PC, and made its console debut on Gamepass on February 10, 2022. After the time we had with Contrast this week, we couldn't wait to blow everything up, and Besiege aimed to please. We're going to load up our trebuchet and let you know why Besiege is worth your time. Besiege is not your traditional physics-based puzzle game. It's more in line with the Hitman series. You are given a target, and then given complete free rein to tackle the problem as you see fit. If you want a challenge, you can try to complete the level using as few pieces as possible. If you want some fun, you can create your own solution. And if you want to see more of our videos, you can subscribe. The game gives you all of the building blocks you need right out of the gate. You'll have access to basic building blocks, hinges, weapons, flying vehicles, and more technical blocks. The solution to every puzzle is what you can come up with. This is my absolute favourite thing about the gameplay. Solutions don't have to be pretty, they just have to work. The majority of the fun comes from watching your concoction explode before your eyes, and with the physics present, the only thing in your way is the amount of determination you have. If you want to go full nuts and test out your death robot, you can boot up the sandbox, which gives you some environments to mess about with your creations. This works great in tandem with the workshop, which allows you to instantly download community creations and use them as you please. You can also save your own custom creations to pull from later. Controls can be a bit finicky to learn in the beginning. I had a few camera troubles before learning exactly how it functioned, but once we got there, it was smooth sailing. The menu does a great job of auto-sorting by recently used, so you can easily juggle pieces. There are cursor controls, but you can control with the D-pad and sticks. It's really intuitive and translates a PC game to console well. My only wish for the gameplay would be a better highlight for which piece you have selected. I kept deleting the wrong blocks by accident sometimes. Overall, I'm really impressed. The game delighted me again and again, and I flat out didn't want to stop playing. Making a row of rockets that shoots everything never ceased to be funny, and watching my creations explode was always a learning experience. Besiege strikes first with a 5 out of 5 for gameplay. Art direction here is very form over function, and it works in spades. The level environments encompass everything that affects the level and nothing more, but each level has its own quaint beauty. There is a defined building style here, and it is consistent across the entire game. AI units are animated hilariously with their little jumps as they charge or flee. Building blocks are all stylized in theme, but are unique enough to tell apart when building. The game really leans into its physics too. The jankiness is part of the humour, and this janky animation style when you build something poorly works great with the gameplay. Finally, yes, the explosions look glorious, and the destruction is everything you can want it to be. There is some background music, but it wasn't memorable enough to not tune out whilst I was in the zone. Some bland music can't detract from the overall art direction here though. Everything just works. The game looks great whilst keeping functionality in tandem with gameplay as its top priority. I can easily give Besiege a 5 out of 5 for its art direction. We once again run into the Minecraft conundrum. Besiege has no narrative, but that is the best way to service the gameplay. You have to make up your own stories. It's all part of the fun. Like in this level, this windmill killed my wife and took my son. Or in this level, the guy that lives here sleeps with his socks on, so he has to die. Or in this level, these guys said my hair looked bad. These guys make clickbait TikTok content. And worst of all, these monsters like pizzas with nothing but pineapple. See? Fun. Although, we do have to be consistent. Besiege gets the same score as Minecraft for its narrative offering for the same reasons. 3 out of 5. Besiege touts itself as a game preview, and as such, we should expect some bugs. We experienced no bugs in our playtime. Everything ran smoothly, my plans don't count in this section. You're getting a solid package here, a full set of puzzles, sandbox mode to mess about in, and a workshop to pull creations from. It really is impressive, and the package is polished, even though it is still early access. There are also some great settings. You can choose between graphics and performance mode. There is a field of view slider that ranges from 60 to 100. You can toggle depth of field and motion blur, and you should turn them both off. Display has major language options and allows you to toggle blood, tooltips and tutorials, and extra block options. Control settings has sliders for cursor and camera sensitivity. You can invert your camera on each axis, and there is a zoom slider. There is a setting to invert camera zoom and toggle camera follows cursor. There is also a slider to offset the camera follow. Sound has sliders for master, music, UI, and SFX volume. There aren't any further options, but they're not really needed. There is no need for subtitles in this game as there is no voice acting. Controls just shows you the controls. I think this was a missed opportunity for remappable buttons. The base game controls are good, but there is a learning curve present, and the ability to tweak buttons to your liking would have gone a long way. There are also no UI options. Some more highlight options and confirmations would go a long way to making the game that little bit less finicky on a controller. With a solid package and great present settings with some big omissions, Besiege gets a 4 out of 5 for its technical offering. Besiege is very friendly towards your time and hard drive. Hard drive footprint is tiny at 1.5 GB. The game is also very friendly towards a variety of play session lengths. Each level is as long as you make it. You can create the bare minimum solution or a machine of mass destruction. Building is easy and fun and never feels like a waste of time. Saving creations is a great system and makes it super easy to pull out old solutions to new puzzles. There are also settings to clear creations, mirror construction, and undo or redo. These go a long way in saving the player time. Play sessions can be super short if you want to do one level before moving on, or super long if you want to play in the sandbox and build whatever comes to mind. It is all up to you. I'm honestly really impressed. Besiege respects your time and hard drive. You'll honestly have no problems fitting this one into your game rotation. Besiege conquers our commitment scale with a 5 out of 5. Besiege really does take me back to a simpler time, where games were just silly and fun. You really owe it to yourself to give this one a go and embrace the madness that can unfold. There is endless depth here, and the only true limit is your imagination. The workshop is already filled with some impossible builds, and I expect them to get even crazier. I only have one thing left to say. The trebuchet is the far better siege weapon than the catapult. That is all.